should be in really good hands.
Well, let's see how the Kai'Sa plays out. Thank you so much for the interview. Back to you guys in the game.
Thank you so much, Lord. Thank you so much, Shocks. I also wanted to talk earlier too. But welcome back to match point for XL. They are 2-1 up over Vitality. I asked a question in Game 3 about what expectations were for these teams. The super team that was supposed to make it all the way to finals, to face off against Fnatic, against the team that had never made playoffs, never played a game, and their players combined before today had 192 playoff matches. Right now, they're on the verge of one of the biggest upsets, at least on paper, that we have seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the very beginning of the split, and expectations were that this Vitality super team would be contesting the top of the table. They would be fighting for supremacy alongside rosters like Fnatic. But so far during the regular season, that hasn't happened. And we were promised best of fives. That's the place. That's the space. All they got to do is get to playoffs, and then they will be able to shine. And so far, XL are leading in the series. Now, of course, there is the... I went and checked the match thread on Reddit, and people like, 2-1 Perks Comfort Zone Copium. But, like, he's done it so many times that, like, it's hard to doubt. So... all eyes on Perks. It was NukeDuck's Corki that was doing so much damage last game with Mickey's engages on the Nautilus. Can Perks have a similar performance this time around?
But then you look over the other side of that rift, you have a Kai'Sa, which has a similar kind of role within this team. You do get to that poke point, but you have a decent lane matchup versus Corki at the same time. So we'll have to see how the early game plays out. Selfmade briefly looking top, and all of these lanes need to be very careful of that.
And I mean, Youngbuck was talking about how that Kai'Sa matchup, he was very excited by it. They made a mistake picking Corki, one of the words from Youngbuck. Thank you to Law for that interview. Let's see what NukeDuck can do. He's already pushed this wave all the way forward. There was a great barrel chain from Finn that was forcing Alphari underneath his tower. And Selfmade just showed as his face to alleviate some of that pressure. 18 CS to 9 in the mid lane, a number of minutes to pick up underneath here. And also Alphari starting to fall just a little bit behind.
If I can be a little self-indulgent, quick shot.
Oh, I'm very much looking forward to it.
I'm very sad to see 80 carries taking over the mid lane, as Marcoon is actually just straight up killing Selfmade right now.
Oh, a lot of damage coming back and forth. 400 HP. NukeDuck is going to step forward. 200. Flash away from Selfmade. First blood picked up. Over the wall goes NukeDuck, looking for the double buffs, and he finds it. 1-for-1 trade on a crucial pick.
It is, and now you look at that Kai'Sa who already has a good early game into the Corki, put some double buffs on top of that, slap them right on there. And Perks is not going to have the best time in this mid lane.
But Marcoon's face just got chopped off, and that was funny to me. The fact that Marcoon looked like he was winning that exchange, he then oversteps one step too much, and Selfmade's like, my W's back up. Chomp gets that kill. If it weren't for NukeDuck flashing over the wall, this could have been very bad for XL.
And both of these jugglers love to fight early, but when you look at that, the W2 from the volley rate, when you recast it on a target done before, it does so much damage. Has to press the attack on for even more on top of that. And even though the isolated 1v1 goes well, NukeDuck comes in, and I think this is a net win for XL.
Especially with the amount of lane pressure this is going to put onto Perks. Already 33 to 21. NukeDuck is going to be looking to bully as much as he can. Marcoon will steal away the chickens underneath Vitality's nose. Selfmade now on the back foot just a little.
Yeah, but what I will say in terms of early leads in these lanes, I think that XL with the Kai'Sa need that. I feel like Corki, if you allow them to have an even passive lane, they become more useful more early. I feel like the Kai'Sa does need to have a lead to roll with. This is the first steps of it being a good road for them, but it needs to continue like this.
For now, Vitality find themselves with the gold lead. Part of that due to the bot lane matchup. Haven't really been paying much attention to what's happened there. But while I talk about that, supports are now roaming on the map once again. Mickey and Labrov, something we've been seeing pretty consistently throughout this series. Consistently moving with their junglers, looking for plays around mid. Mickey just doing a smart thing here of just helping NukeDuck push out that wave, knowing that Selfmade wants to punish the flashless NukeDuck.
And of course, in the previous game, picking up the first winner Nautilus in playoffs, the Mickey XL buff, taking the champion 1-2. He's played that second in a row. And whether or not it's Year of the Duck will remain to be seen, but NukeDuck hasn't played Kai'Sa since 2018. He actually has a win in the LEC on mid lane Kai'Sa. It was a funnel meta, FYI. And of course, he's played it one other time at All-Stars, as everyone will know. So this is actually NukeDuck's third mid lane Kai'Sa in his professional career.
Can I just say again, good riddance to funnel. Glad we don't have that here.
Well, this time around, he was somewhat funneled, a double buff. as Marcoon with that invade. It allowed Nukeduck at least pick up a minus CS lead early back. And he's returned to lane. Got himself that Warhammer, got the tier as well. Going to be sitting very comfortably. Finn has hit level 6. Marcoon's making his way up top, and Alfari will match. That Meganar starting to stack up. So if Alfari commits further, it could be the possibility for an engage here. Going to hold on to it for now.
Alfari should be aware that the risk of a gank is very real, but Finn is playing at the very edge, trying to force Alfari to overcommit.
Meganar, orange flash. Alfari's holding on to his for now. Cannon Barrage still available for Finn. He's going to hold on to it. They will trade flashes.
Net win, though, I think, for Alfari, because look at the wave state. It is pushing into Alfari, and this is going to force Finn to TP, but it's also going to force him to overextend. So now, Selfmade can either look to path top to set up for a gank, or he can just grab himself the Drake. And that's why you also see Mickey and Patrick contesting the River Vision right now. They're trying to make it harder for Selfmade to just cross-map that Drake and buying time for Marcoon to get back out onto the map.
Okay, but even though that teleport's gone from the top side of Finn, still has the ultimate, so watch out for that bot side of the map and keep those globals ever in mind. Mid lane is, of course, also going to start getting to the point in the next couple of minutes where they start joining the fray with their own versions of semi-globals.
I'm really happy to see the bottom lane now a little bit, because there is a small CS advantage for Lebrov and Kazi, and Wave pushing towards them just a touch. And for the 4th game in a row, Patrick is running this Jinx, feeling very comfortable on it, and has been able to have that impact.
Okay, chat, you can't spam -1 on that one. That wasn't his fault, okay? The wave was in an awkward spot. Lebrov body blocked it. You can't be mean to Patrick.
Well, I'm sure they will be,
They will be, they will be.
But I think when Patrick and XL are 2-1 up in the series, they can temper that somewhat. Mickey and Patrick stepping forward. Another zap will find its target, and this wave continues to push forward. But all credit here to Kazi, continuing to push ahead on that CS lead. Selfmade this time round will go face-to-face with Marcoon in just a moment.
Now Perks has the push. He's moving with Selfmade into the river. Both junglers level 6, and they duel once more.
They are indeed, or at least Marcoon steps
duel.
forward and then runs away. We're both holding our breath because both of these teams
10 paces, walking,
willing,
and they don't stop.
willing to fight.
Back you go.
This time round, however, Vitality 600 gold up. And it's a slightly slower early game. I think all 3 of our previous games, multiple kills, multiple ganks, and a lot of influence from the respective junglers.
And I wonder if part of that is actually looking across all 3 lanes. If you get one good gank in any of these lanes, it can turn the matchup pretty heavily. Already kind of talked about it in mid lane. Top lane, of course, a very famous skill match between the two, depending on what really is happening with a Nukeduck. Might be on the back end. No one.
Gets the boop, waiting for the lick. The ultimate will allow Nukeduck to escape with the shield. Now Marcoon going to jump forward with that Heartbreaker, looking for the dash. The Cannon Barrage that was not used earlier allows XL to pick up a kill that lands in Marcoon's lap.
There we go, that's the global use. Talked about, okay, yeah, no teleports in the top lanes. However, other things come into play.
The Hawk Shot's been used. For anyone that hasn't watched the series, Patrick has been more than willing to spam out Super Mega Death Rocket. Has used it for vision, has used it for information, and this time around didn't find its target.
So a lot of things have happened as a result of that play too. Not only does Nukeduck get away with his life without using any summoner spells, but a lot of plate gold goes into Patrick's back pocket. Now another skirmish in top lane.
Another skirmish. Selfmade's going to find the stun there onto Marcoon. So much damage, down to 300 HP. A little bit of healing, 200, 800. Stormbringer's flashed away from, and Selfmade needs to flash for himself. Nobody dies in the exchange.
These 2 junglers really want to get things close here.
I mean, Namira, you can feel the tension. Both of these teams trying to extract a win, but not yet willing to make that step into the danger zone, to overreach for the play.
And again, bring it out to a wider scope. You lose here as Vitality. You're out. You don't have a extra life in this lower bracket. Both teams know the stakes here.
And of course, let's think back to that Alfari and Finn exchange. While Finn was able to hold on the Cannon Barrage that allowed them to pick up a kill, Alfari's got a CS lead. He's got place in the top lane. He pushed that wave back that also allowed that sort of skirmish in between the turrets. And once again, early game objectives, somewhat in favor of Vitality. They get an early Herald. They already have a minor gold lead, and they can use that to extract some more gold.
I can already tell this game is going to be a long one. Quick shot.
Yes!
The Drakes have not gone down just yet. Vitality have been very proactive on their Drake secures. And while this Herald can be used to open up the map a little bit more, funnel some plates into, well, really wherever Vitality want to, the fact is, these fights around the Dragon are going to be very important, and both teams are quite happy to take their time and play with their scaling compositions.
Okay, but if this is going to be a long game, I want to look at the suspects in the lineup right here, or everyone over both sides. Look at these scaling carries from both sides, and there isn't a great way to engage onto any of them. You do have the Nautilus who can help in some regard, but trying to shut down all of the carries at once is not going to happen. One of these big damage carries on either side is going to be left to do huge damage.
I mean, Alfari right now is just obliterating this top lane tower. He's 20 CS up as well. And at the same time, Kazi is currently out farming Patrick, catching wave after wave, playing it relatively safe. We've seen roams from LeBron that's allowed an attempt at the kill to play out in their favor. And Vitality, again, in a little bit of a controlling situation. The Kim Tank was picked up by Selfmade, one of those initiating tools. The Cull for Patrick, by the way, 50 CS still to go. So another indication, Vedius, that we're going to sit in these lanes, see how they play out. Ultimately, neither team wants to concede or give up a big play because of how well both teams can use the leads.
It's the bot lane dive with the package available, with the volley there as well. Marcoon reads it.
Marcoon is not going to be able to get just yet. He's instead going to jump onto Kazi. It's a lot of damage. Cannon Barrage comes out. The Rune King is used as well. Super Mega Deathlogger picks up a kill for Patrick. It's a 1-for-1 as both bot laners are taken out. Correction, Marcoon was taken down after he stole away a failure. Stormbringer comes out. That's going to mute the tower for now. Nutuck runs for his life. The Killer Instinct keeps him alive thanks to that shield. Ends up being a 1-for-1 bottom lane.
These skirmishes, again, still so close. Yes, you have the package, but remember, the Kai'Sa allows them to join the fray. So you need to get good damage out, but couldn't quite shut down the Viego before that reset came in. Close margins once more.
Finn's ultimate doing a lot of good work there to actually assist with the kill onto Kazi. And I think the Marcoon makes the correct decision here. Attack the weaker part of the flank, given that 3 members of Vitality are zoned off. The trap buys time, but the package comes through from Perks. Him, along with LeBron, collapsing onto Marcoon. A little too slow to keep their AD carry alive, but now Alfari in the 1v1.
Oh, while we were doing that play, I mean, that was well played.
That was a solo kill, quick shot.
That was a solo kill of note. Alfari again dominating this matchup.
And it's also, again, after the global's been used, you have the global getting something across the map, but it is at the cost of Finn falling behind in the individual matchup.
And keep in mind that GP was picked into the Gnar. Alfari's doing very well. In game 3, I asked who will win this series, Vitality or XL. If you're on Discord, please go vote and let me know. Discord@lec.gg. Right now, fans are favoring XL. They're 2-1 up. They start to play very well. Super Team Syndrome, I think, starting to impact some of the fans and viewers at home's thoughts. Super Teams historically not been successful, but at least now in match point, in Perks' comfort zone, they're standing up with a significant lead, Vedius.
Yeah, let's take into context the state of the map right now, because Vitality, they've already secured the bot tower and they've moved Perks down there to perma-push and keep pressure on that side, along with having the TP, which will be unleashed in 15 seconds. You also have the bot laners continuing to push in mid, with top laners securing 4 plates and being a whole level up over Finn. So the entire map right now is in the position where Vitality lead.
And again, to kind of re-index in on that, I mean, you see that the weaker side laner of the Corki has some safe vision. You don't really need to do the same for the Gnar on the other side of the map because they're so damn strong. But that Corki has been given the resources. Side lanes working out for maybe the first time this series.
Well, let's see if we can continue. 14 minutes in, the laning phase starting to dwindle away. And it is a 2,000 gold lead in favor of Vitality. XL, however, for the first time this series, picked up the first Drake. We're a minute and a half away from Drake number 2. It'll be a Hex, and all the teams now continuing to power up. First items being completed pretty much across the carries. But Bravo Mickey's still waiting to farm their way in. And Vitality, again, just playing really well. I think Alfari on this Gnar is going to be a gigantic thorn in the side of XL.
Certainly is.
I mean, looking at the individual matchup again, it is just about Finn looking to get something out of the global. And while you have that up again, the one time where you don't get anything out of the global, you're just going to start, again, bleeding away some of these minor advantages.
Okay, question now. With the gold deficit XL find themselves in, and the composition they have without a real true frontliner, when do we start to get nervous? Are we already in that place?
I mean, I think Treat summarized it very well on the analyst desk, where he said that he quite likes both comps, and so do I. I think both have pretty solid scaling for different reasons. The thing that concerns me is, as Nymera's already talked about, the lack of engage and how that will actually shape the fights. But it very much depends on how Alfari continues to play this side lane, because this is Oh, hang on. They're diving Patrick.
They are indeed. Stormbringer will shut the tower off. No flash available. The Gale Force gets Patrick to some level of safety, and a little lick from Labrov sends him packing. 3 members of XL are chasing Alfari, however. Finn stays alive just long enough for Mickey's depth charge to knock Alfari in the A. Flashes away from the dredge line, and XL will be able to hold off the top lane, but it may be at the cost of the mids.
And you know how we were talking about how the resources had gone into the Corki to keep them safe in the side lane? The reason they could do that is because Alfari can do that even in uneven numbered fights. Draws in so many people to the play and even gets away with a flash and a couple of summoners taken away.
Oh, I was waiting to see if Nuke Duck chased with that killer instinct. Dredge line is dashed away from with that Gale Force, and Vitality are looking to force a game 5. They'll pick up a dragon. They've got a significant gold lead, and they are playing so proactively around the pressure Alfari's unlocked.
Yeah, you're quite right. Nymera summarized it beautifully, and what that meant was that Selfmade got himself the Drake. Corki was able to push in the bot lane, get a quick reset off, and continue to add to the itemization. Patrick is going to continue to use his ultimate to interrupt the back of Kazi, but Vitality now setting up to secure that mid-tier 1. The Herald is up and alive. They can either contest that if they want to guarantee that mid-tier 1, or they can look to just set up around the objective themselves. All I know is they're going to move Perks off onto one side lane, Alfari off onto the other, and while I think that their composition is still strong when it comes to the 5v5, Vitality right now know the lead that they're in and are trying to push it all across the map.
I think the caveat I'd have is that XL's comp is good in a 5v5, but not quite yet. I think when you hit 2 items on Kai'Sa, that's when you're very, very happy. Alfari, though, gonna have to deal with another sticky situation.
XL trying to set up a play. This time around, Q will find Alfari as well as the parlay. A little bit of a gobble up from Labrov, waddling away to safety. Alfari stays alive, and Labrov loses his life. Perks teleported in. That's a flash over from Selfmade. He's looking for the frenzied more won't have needed. One side swipe will take down Patrick. Now Finn's caught, the next target for Selfmade, as the Ruined King is chasing down and taking out underneath the tower. Alfari gets another. Finn drops as well. Mickey will die too, and XL are routed inside their jungle.
4 members fall for XL, and Vitality continue to dominate. You can see XL trying to get something back on the map. They tried to force a dive, but everything fell apart.
And again, this is Vitality backs against the wall. Match point against them. Once again, it comes down to Alfari in a side lane. How much can you do? This time, he's got backup. Honestly, throughout the series, we've seen this kind of response to a side lane play more often reversed. We've seen XL having to respond. This time, it's Vitality that pull the tower force, bring everyone to the side of the map, bring him to the play, and they seriously get rewarded for it.
Oh, such a great response from Vitality. Ready to react. That teleport from Perks, buying all the time for Selfmade to make it in. And just a quick reminder, I haven't said it yet, whoever wins today will go on to face G2 next Friday. Whoever wins then goes on to face Misfits on Sunday. And if you lose any of those series, you are done. Your spring is over. There's no chances for the finals weekend and no chances for MSI.
It was Fnatic last year in summer that went to all 5 games in every single lower bracket series, and they made it all the way to the final.
Yeah.
They did 3-0 G2, I think it was.
Yeah, it did. Hold that thought right now as the boulder toss will catch Mickey. No further follow-up. The Rift Herald is going to be able to get that charge into the inner turret. While that's going on, Perks is pushing the middle lane. And right now, Vitality in a great position.
But the point, what I was trying to get behind, was that Perk says he wants to do the same. He wants to make that lower bracket run. He wants to be back on top in Europe. And the pressure is on. This is his comfort zone. Right now, it's not all about him. It is about his team stepping up. Alfari soaking up so much pressure, and Vitality continue to apply that pressure onto the mid-tier 2.
Finn has been left unopposed. He's pushing the bottom lane, while Vitality take the top tower, the inner tower, extend that gold lead to 6,000. As we near the 20-minute mark, Finn has teleport available. He looks like he'll take the tower, pick up the bounty. That is crucial. But will he be able to get out with his life?
And it is 2 bounties. What's it going to cost? Probably it's going to be the death of the GP again.
Well, let's find out. Selfmade starting to step forward. Here we go. Down on all 4 to Trot. Drops down the lightning, and this is a teleport being committed. I think Finn's going to be dead before anything completes, and going to be taken out and easily done. Finn unable to complete the channel. Another kill, the 9th for Vitality. It's starting to feel like this game is running away from XL. Let's not forget that Vitality have been inconsistent, shall we say, throughout spring. And if they do make mistakes, there is a lot of room to punish for Excel.
And who's going to be punished? Well, it's the person with these 2 items down there. It's the 2 items on the Kai'Sa. Power Spike hit. How much can Nukeduck do in terms of this poke battle? We know that Corki's going to be doing the same thing. This could actually come down in some situations to skill shot accuracy.
Certainly could. And as we get closer and closer to the next Drake, this is really where we're going to see it. Will XL even consider contesting? Could we very quickly look at the gold difference between the two 80 carries, observers? It's actually only 800, but Patrick hasn't actually finished his major item yet. You can see the biggest difference really developing in top lane with a 2-level advantage for Alphari, pushing in that bot lane.
Oh, that Void Seeker into the dredge line. The Devour comes out, and the defensive Stormbringer. Kazi's going to Gale Force forward, and Lebrov gets the final kill. Kazi with the fantastic double root on the Moonlight Vigil allows for 3 kills in total.
Kazi, he doesn't get the kills, but he is the one that kills them all. Mickey's now trying to run away for his life, but Perkz will get revenge on his former teammate for last game. He flies up the G2 logo.
Oh.
And Vitality, they wanted to send a message. That initial fight looked good for XL, but it all fell apart. Now, Alphari can go grab the Drake.
Skill shot accuracy, Nymera. Vitality landed all of them. Kazi's Gale Force forward set it up for Vitality to bring it home.
Kind of helps when they're all clumped up in a choke point, but that's what they bought into. They chose that fight. They threw out the hook, and now XL, if they were in a bad position before, extra gold given over, extra time in this game, rather, kind of taken away from their own timer. You can see, sweet, we can burst someone out. Lots of ability to take down the first target, but Labrov comes in with a clutch Devour, and then, as you said, Kazi, serious damage online on the balance.
It makes me laugh that Labrov got so many kills with just his Q. I mean, don't get me wrong, he played that fight really well, but he definitely shouldn't have been the benefactor of all those kills. And there's the G2 flat. Perkz sending a message, the laughter on Kazi's face. Definitely a big fight for him. We are gearing ever closer to that 5th game. Vitality have a commanding gold lead, and when the pressure is mounting, you have to think that the experience on this roster is coming up clutch. They look unfazed. They are continuing to laugh, and you have to remember, current reigning champion Kazi of the LEC, former champion Perkz, multiple-time finalist Alphari. These players know what it is like to be in this position, and they do not falter.
It feels like Kazi, first of his name, king of the... How many titles do you need at this point?
Well, we'll find out whether or not they can get one step closer, because XL are in a very difficult situation. Kazi's very happy. Look at the damage from that Void Seeker, though. Perkz is being chunked out, and this is what Nymera was mentioning a moment or two ago. And also just calling back to the analyst desk during draft, I think it was Treats that mentioned that Finn's Gangplank build would be different. I'm starting to see the Collector after the Trinity Force. Let's see whether or not he can make that work. Try to claw back this gold deficit. But it's 2 dragons to 1. Vitality have 5 towers to 2. Baron is up, but you need to be so careful. Super Mega Death Rocket, Cannon Barrage. If they make a play for it, the risk is immense. And what this means is the game will slow down as more objectives to secure for Vitality become more risky, more dangerous to do so, because XL do have replies, especially if they have a numbers advantage. Right now, though, numbers advantage to Vitality, so they will chunk down this inner turret. Selfmade will not be able to be caught by the dredge line, throws out another defensive Stormbringer, but that will secure the 6th tower of the game, as Nukeduck cannot secure the top just yet either.
No, again, I feel like they have to kind of cross-map here. We saw what happens when it comes into the very big clumped fights, and they don't have the big chunks to begin it. If XL do walk into those situations, they're still down a very large amount of gold. Try and get some of those objective bounties. You have the luxury of having them on the board. No, they're not always the largest thing, but it's a little drip that can end up adding to the total that they really need to really get on even footing again.
I feel like Vitality is just so far ahead at this point that they kind of have to play to the beat of... Well, XL rather have to play to the beat of their drum. I like how Vitality is just pushing in waves, moving into the jungle. They're not afraid of face checking. They're leveraging the front line of Selfmade and Labrov. These full tank duo just mitigating and soaking up a lot of the poke damage. And you can see that poke damage is decent.
Dredge line will connect onto Kazi. Perkz is taken up. The Killer Instinct was used. Nymera called it. If they land, these are squishy champions. Corki, Aphelios, they're down. Baron has a bounty on it, a 5-man stack. And Selfmade does have his smites available. Where is he? Top lane, it feels like Vitality are going to concede this one. Now, this Baron will balance out the game. This will not put XL in the lead, but depending on how they use the buff, they may be able to unlock an advantage, and that is gigantic for XL.
And what does it let you do? It lets you sit, it lets you scale. It is 3 Ws in a row from Nuke Duck onto targets, which then can't fight at their full capacity. Of course, when you get 2 in a row, you end up activating your passive. It sticks on long enough and the cooldown's short enough, and getting it across all of these different members of Vitality makes it so hard to find the right targets. Lavrov doesn't even use the ultimate onto the Corki. Corki goes down without being devoured.
And Mickey again on this Nautilus finds the perfect hook. Kazi just ever so slightly oversteps in front of his front line, and he ends up falling. XL, once again, very swift to punish the small mistakes of Vitality, and all of a sudden, we're in for a much closer game than I expected.
I mean, I was ready for Game 5. I was ready for Silver Scrapes. I was ready to talk about the pressure, who's going to mount it, but Mickey XL teaches the rest of Europe how to frickin' play Nautilus, and that WTF play allows XL to decimate the gold lead. It is now 2,000, the difference. XL have got 3 towers to Vitality's 6, and for the first time in, what, 15 minutes? They step into the river. They step past the river, and we are 20 seconds from Infernal. Only 2 dragons for Vitality, 1 for XL.
Observers, can we very quickly have a look at the gold? I just want to see where it is all sitting right now. Yeah, so mid lane pretty much dead even. Bot lane so much closer than they were. Top lane as well. So many of the carries for XL are now much more on an even footing with their lane counterparts.
Oh, I'm clenching a little bit as 5 members of Vitality are chasing forward. The package is dropped down onto Mickey. He stays alive to get away. Killer Instinct into the backline for Nuke Duck, and 5 members of XL are now split up across the map. Self-made is Nafari. They get the 2-man Naro to the wall. Patrick is taken down. The fight is won by Vitality. They get a second for Self-made, and Finn will drop to Alfari. Just like that, XL blunder the lead.
You said you were ready for Silver Scrapes, looking ever so likely it's going to it.
Oh, Nuke Duck's going to be able to pick up one until Labrov, but it will be at the cost of his own life. Perks takes him down. 45-second death timer for Nuke Duck. 30 seconds for everyone else. Vitality, they might just push for the win.
They might just do it. Quick shot, they have the wave. Alfari is low, but the death timers are long. Mickey is going to respawn, but I think this is it. Vitality are bringing us to Game 5.
Minions pushing onto the Nexus turret. 69% of the fans believe XL will win this series. I wonder how much that will change. Mickey's trying to buy time, trying to riptide the minions. He will be taken out by Alfari. The Nexus turrets will fall, and for the first time in spring playoffs, we are going to Game 5.
And I gotta say, I feel very lucky. This is an insane series. So much going into it, so much stakes for both of these teams.
Also, how the series has developed. Game 1 and 2 defined by the early game advantages that Markoon was able to pick up. Game 3 and 4 about cross-mapping, a little bit of PvE, playing those side lanes. And now what happens in Game 5?
I mean, I expect